Welcome to the Hampshire 1900 start, and we are picking up on the 15th of July 1916, which is over a year on from the end of the last part. For one simple reason is the fact that I did record a video. I think it was back at the beginning of 1916, and to be honest, it was pretty boring simply because all I was doing most of the time was just waiting for all my various projects to catch up and finish. So I'll give you a bit of an update with that. And the other thing that's given me a little bit of a problem is here, because we're meant to be repairing this grapevine, but it's actually taking a little while. And I think this is one of the problems that you get when you do an early start. That is that as you move away from the border, it just takes longer and longer to get things done. Also, I think it's now time to start to specialize this guy completely now. So we're going to make him up to maximum. But from now on, we're not going to be using this one for construction. I think we need him, this vehicle, this one here, to work exclusively on actually just kind of doing the maintenance, because this has been around for some time. In fact, it's becoming a little bit of a problem now. One other thing I need to do almost immediately, because I meant to do this in the last, not the video I recorded which I threw away, but the one before it. That is, we're going to start really starting to take a serious look at built maintenance, and just to show you the wear and tear. The building maintenance is under control, so ignore all the ones which are in red. These are the buildings scattered around the map, which is showing various levels of wear and tear. But you can see here the maximum wear and tear on the apartments or the buildings that I've built, and we've got 16 pages of it now, is 34%. Now, what the change I want to make is, if we come to road vehicles again, we're going to do the entire map. And if I show wear and tear on the entire map, you see that we've now got some buildings which are over 50%. You've got this one here at 57%. And again, this is another kind of hazard that you get. Oh, he's actually finished. What he was doing was building this long power cable here. And it took, and obviously it was close to being, how can you put it, its maximum 50% when it was actually sent here. And of course, what that means is that this vehicle now has gone over its percentage, and this is what can happen with respect to this area here. Where is he? I think it's this one here, isn't it? Yeah, you're 57%. Just gonna follow him along again. What you should do is go into here, and you should get picked up with this one here. Yeah, this vehicle is on the way. So he's gonna come down here, and then eventually he should get picked up and repaired. Now what I want to do, just get him into there, is do something, and a special shout out. Well, first things first, as usual, a big thank you for your comments and feedback. You guys have given me a lot to think about. But a special shout out to Vimes, because we had a bit of a discussion a little while ago, it's not there here, about maintenance level, and Vimes was saying that he actually reduces this maintenance level down, which is a good idea, because 50%, it doesn't show very much here, but as you move forward in time, especially when you get to the 1960s, 1970s, what you start to get is more random breakdowns with vehicles that haven't reached the repair level at 50%, but they will start to break down a little bit. So what you need, so there's a bit to be said about reducing the percentage. Now, I haven't done it so far simply because I wanted to get the maximum out of these vehicles, but what we're going to do now is I'm just going to reduce this to 48%. Now what that will do is, if we redo the wear and tear for the entire map, what you see now is that brings in, now the way the percentage actually works is that it's got to be greater than 48%. You can see here it says greater than 48%. So it means I've got a series of vehicles here that actually now need to be repaired. And what I eventually want to do is get this down to between 40 and 45%. I know some players go a lot lower than that, and the reason for that is that it will give me more reliability over time. But of course, if you're going to do it, you need to do it relatively early in the game. Is this? Yeah, this guy's been repaired. I'm actually looking for him in here. Do I actually have a dumper? Okay. I've only got the one dumper operating in this area. Is it finished now? Let's have a quick look. It's finished now. We got back to 56,000. I'm just going to bring a second what we call it here, bulldozer out here. Because in this part, what I'd like to do is see if we can do a bit of leveling out here and find our coal mines and sort that out. Obviously, I'm not going to be spending the whole video doing that. So we've now reduced the percentage. Now, the most interesting things that have been going on here is over in this area. I've now got my incinerator kind of working. I've got a bit of an issue here with workforce. You can see the bus is just arriving, but it's not causing a problem because we're not getting so much there. I do have a problem with this in the sense I set this up to be to actually take deliveries, but it doesn't seem to want to take deliveries, and at the moment everything seems to be well under control. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to demolish this. I was never 100% happy with it, so we're actually going to demolish that there. Now what I've got going here is we've got a distribution office here which is set to pick up the mixed waste from here when it gets to 30%. And the reason it's set to 30% is if I come in here and show you this percentage, you'll see that what I'm trying to do here is use the natural decomposition of the ash to actually, how can you put it, to actually remove the ash from there. So all we got left is construction waste and metal scrap. And so what that does is actually make the waste a little bit more valuable. So in a way, it's a kind of, how can you put it? I go to Soviet West exports and see if I can find it. You can see here, we exported 7 tons of mixed waste, and it only cost me minus 18 rubles. The reason for that is that at the moment we're decomposing out the ash and we're getting some profit from the construction waste and the thing here. So we're going to get rid of that, and then eventually what we'll do is when we get to can't remember what date it is, let me just see, when we get to go down the waste separation, it's a long way in the future. 1934, we start coming out here and we get to waste separation. We can build a waste in 1935. We can build a waste separation plant out here. And I say, by removing this, I can open up that possibility. And you can see we're getting a little bit of waste in here, but I think 55 tons is okay at the moment. I mean, I've got over here as a backup. What I'm using this for is actually the hazardous waste, because I don't really want to contaminate this with hazardous waste. Now the next change I've done is we've got the bitumen works up here. It's not exactly going full blast. Again, the problem I've got is workforce. Again, it's getting the workforce out here consistently. This is a persistent problem that you will have when you're playing here. You can see I've got a little bus here. It can only do 26 kilometers an hour. So it's getting the workforce out here, but the workforce is sporadic. But what it does mean is we are getting some asphalt out here, and we are making some bitumen. The downside is that I don't think it was ever going to be possible to justify exporting any of this. Now, the thing, what I have been doing is pushing out the actual road this way, but of course, the one more problem we got now is traveling time. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to get a construction office. Wow, that's big. I think I've got more compact construction offices than that. Let me just see. Construction office. I've got a huge one here, which is 32. We've got a 20 here, which is, yeah, I think if I could get a 20 in here. Actually, if we could get it there. And what this is going to be is our new road crew. So we're going to get a 20 out here. And of course we will build a gravel road into there. And what that will do is, I know it doesn't seem much of a shortage of distance, but when you bear in mind that, say, because what I want to do is push these road system out. If the vehicles have got to come from there to pick up the goods to go to there, one thing we will need out here is we got a gas station. We've got a gas station up there. That's good. So what we're going to do is move these guys out. We got a new gas station here, which means we'll eventually get rid of you. So we've got gas station. So these guys will come out here. We'll be able to tidy this up. Now the next thing I want to build is another distribution office for a reason which I will explain in a little while. I wouldn't mind putting you on this corner just there. Don't think we're gonna waste effort building a road there. That guy was going to do his stuff. What we're going to be doing here is building in a specialized distribution office, which is going to import fertilizer. And as the title of the video says, we're going to start a little bit of an agricultural revolution now, because as I say, we're on 1916, and what I want to do is start importing fertilizer to get the productivity up on these fields, because I want to try another strategy. And the other reason for doing that is I think I actually looked up, let me just look on the, yeah, we get our first kind of better combine harvester in 1919, which is only 3 years away. So what I want to do before that is see if I can work on the fertility here, and see if we can push up the fertility to 150%. We're not going to bring in liquid fertilizer. What we're actually representing is what actually happened is that it was in the kind of around the 1910, 1920, maybe a little bit earlier, when the ships brought in guano from islands of South America, which is the first kind of major used fertilizer, which was used to increase the productivity of farms. So that's what we're hoping to do here. Now, if we scoot back over to here, we're still working on this big farm here. Everything is so painfully slow at the moment, but there's not much I can do about it. This is the nature of the game when you start this early. I think what I will do is, we've got the bulldozers here. See if we can find the, as I say, I'm not going to do the full recovery. What I want to do is see if I can, let me just expand this a little bit. If I can get a little bit of height here, we go to here. Yeah, we got a bit of height now. Get terrain from center. Terrain from center seems to be a little bit more efficient than raising the terrain. So what we're going to do is push this out and just make this a little bit bigger. Now this coal mine is going to be very, very important going forward, for several reasons. The first reason is that we've got to get coal for our steel industry, which we're going to need to be able to ship. The other thing we're going to need to do is work on there we are, 63%, 58%, 65%, is we're going to need coal for our railways, because railways are going to be quite significant, but we need to strengthen our economy for that. Right, so we're going to get, the best I'm going to get here is, oops, thank you game, that is 68. Right, the best we're going to get is 68%. I want the conveyor there. Where's the other coal mine? The other coal mine is over here. One should be a little bit easier to do because it's actually got, yeah, I know the loyalty is too low. We will make that connection. I'm not gonna, we're probably gonna have to put a bridge over here somewhere, because I want to keep Portsmouth as an island. I know it's silly, but it's the type of thing that if I don't do it properly, I will start to kind of have problems with the series. I suppose in some ways I'm too closely attached to the area. Let me just flip that way. 44. So it looks like the best we're going to get here is 44%. So put you there. What we're going to have to do is push this out. Now we're going to need to make space, because the only way we're going to get a really effective workforce out here, well, to the first coal mine, which would be this one. This one we won't build. We're planned for, but we won't actually build it. Is we're going to need some form of cableway out here. But what I will do is, that's the thing there. So put the bridge there. And then we'll put you. That means we've now got a connection to there. In fact, well, put the final connection in. Put you through like that. Leave it in template mode for the moment. We will have a problem here, because we will need to put a conveyor in. Well, I'll work on that, because what we'll have to do is close this gap so we can span the water. So we may have to make a very narrow waterway here. The alternative is we put the ore processing there, so we actually go out that way. But that might be the better solution. Anyway, that's going to be once we get to the detailed programming, and it's not something I want to do in this part. Like, we've now got power out here, and what I've got is a couple of buses now, and we're going to pick up from there and go to there. And what we're going to do is I want to shut down the brewery, because we're going to have to ramp this up over time. And as you can see, building this in is going to take quite some time. We've got 88 tons of crops there. Now comes the fun bit. I need some more covered. Just rename you for you. Crop import into there. Capacity. Right, we get 1, 2, 3 of those. Oh yeah, the other thing I want to show you is the fact we've now paid off our debt, so we're kind of running with respect to that. Generally, what else is going on in this area is okay. One thing I will do is we'll build that, and we've now built this road out here, and I want to keep trying to push that out that way, because if we're going to start building our new town, which we won't be doing in this part, I need to, how can you put it, I need to get this sorted out. Can't, no kindergarten. The kindergarten is full. It is getting the kindergarten is getting a little bit over the edge. But we do have another kindergarten down here. And we are now producing food, which is going to be sent to there. So where's my shop supplies? What we're going to do now is tell you to get the food from here. And what we're going to do is leave the customs import. Again, we're going to take advantage of the priority. Wow. This is probably down to the fact that we're pushing out the gravel. So what we're going to do is get that way, and then eventually what should happen is we should become completely self-sufficient in food for the moment. And then of course, once we've got enough workforce out here, how many unemployed? We've got 57 unemployed. Where's the unemployed? Oops. Not thinking properly. Yep. So we got a little bit of unemployed in this area. How's the unemployment over here? Yeah, so we got no massive famous last words. No massive concentration of workforce here. So we are getting workforce here, but the problem is getting them out over here. Get the ground crew working on that. And we will rename you road crew. North New Road. Okay. And the game obligingly truncated it for me. Eastleigh. Oops. Actually, we'll call it East North New Road Crew. So we got that going. We got this being built. Now the idea is going to be is that we're going to start trying to improve the fertility on these fields. Now, the way we're going to do it is, in the past, I've kind of got these, and what I'm going to do is add you. Okay, we've got this operating again, that's good. Now the principle we're going to be working on, if I show you the fertility, which is here, is, see, like we've got a field down here with 10% on it. Now the way the fertility, the natural compost works is that this will get added to a field until the fertility gets to 150%, like we've got here. So for example, this field here is already at 150%. So what that means is that these will not be given any organic compost. Now, if we had liquid fertilizer, they would actually get it, but they won't actually get the extra fertilizer. So the organic fertilizer will be added to a field to get it to 150%, or if vice versa, if you had only liquid fertilizer, the fertilizer will only go to 150%. Now the idea is going to be is that we will start piling up the crops in these fields, and what will happen is that any crops that we don't get harvested will be used to add back to the fertility. So the idea is going to be is that we will build up a larger fertility, which will build up over several years. So once we get the better combine, we will get more crops coming in on storage. The same down here. So we got all these fields here. So what we're going to do is use the fertilizer to actually get past the fact that we been doing the crop rotation. I mean, it worked, but it was a little bit of a pain actually managing it. So we got that going there. We got this being built, which means we can move this here, and we've now built this. So what we're going to do is rename you Eastleigh, put the E on the front. Fertilizer import, and what we're going to do is just buy a couple of waste trucks. Wow. Okay, we're going to get 2 of those to be going on with. You're going to load that there. Now I'm not going to set the fertilizer in the farm to high levels. Let me just see here. This is 80 tons, so fertilizer to there. What we'll do is we'll set you to about 20% now, because I don't want to import really large amounts, because we're still producing some local fertilizer from our waste processing, which reminds me, got little bit of biological waste here. We'll just chunk that onto there. Okay, we've got a new truck available. Looking at it, I'd say it's an ambulance. We'll look at that. How come I don't have an ambulance? Doesn't make sense. Oh, these are used vehicles. Actually, never really looked at the used vehicles. To be honest, I generally don't play with used vehicles, mainly because when you bring them in, normally the first thing you got to do is actually repair them. So I like to buy new vehicles. Okay, well, obviously got a Russo bolt here. Let me just see. So is that actually a Western vehicle? I must admit, it looked more like the style of a Soviet vehicle. Let's just see. Oh, now we got them back. See, this one's capable of 50 kilometers an hour, which means that we could use that to our advantage, but would it be beneficial? That's the question we got to ask. Actually, let me just look at something. So we got lots of vehicles now, which are on, I mean, they're all on auto replace at the moment. I'm going to put auto replacement on. Let me just look at the, it says wear and tear 80%. That's way too much. We'll put it at, say, 50%. And a vehicle age of, this is a setting that you do need to set relatively early in the game. Otherwise, what will happen is if you suddenly do it late in the game, or when you get to, say, a point where you've got literally hundreds of vehicles, what can happen is that the, how can you put it, you will suddenly get a mass scrap event. Actually, let me just see here. Send a scrapyard. I certainly don't want to waste the vehicles. Just have a look and see what the consequences of that is going to be. Entire map, vehicle age. Yeah, so we got a what are you? Yeah, we got an oil truck there. See, there are certain vehicles that I would like to replace manually. I put some more buses in to try and improve the route, especially out to here. Let me just get here. I think we've only got 2 on here, 3 on. I want a bit more productivity out that way. Now, these 2 are going to go over to here. Simply that I want the better buses out here, and I want the fuel-driven buses. So you guys are going to come over to here, and we'll move you over in stages. Because eventually, over this area, what we're going to do is replace all the wagons and stuff with what we need. Okay, we need to make that connection there. So you do that and that. We've now got the farm in here, so probably for the rest of this video we're going to actually plan our, actually cancel that. Where's the factory connections? We've got a factory connection there. So what I am going to do is we're going to put a, this is a big farm, so we're going to put a sneak in medium dump there. And we, of course, we've got no pipeline connection to this, so we're going to come off here. Aha. Okay. Just going to accept that. Hey, can you? Right, I'm just going to pause the video while this is being built, because I've got nothing else to do until I can get that done. Okay, welcome back. The road's not quite finished, but I think what we can do now is get a tiny amount of alcohol production going. as well alongside the farm. Alright, shop supplies here. We're gonna rename you food elk pickup. Okay, we've now finished the road here. And we've got 3 fields here, which I've been picking up. I think I will, we'll go, because of course we need to get this set up for next spring. Now this is going to be quite a big farm. Let me just see what we've got. Right. What we're going to do is we're going to put in we'll go to mud now. So we got I think I might actually go for 4 large fields. Got that there. How much flat? Got some flat land this way. Yeah, we're going to go for 4 large fields. It's probably going to be way too much, but this is very much like what's the best way to describe it? Is an ongoing project. Now should we put that one there? And then what we'll do is actually, if I could get another. Okay, we're going to go for 5 large fields. It's probably way over the top. Actually, I'm going to mess this up now, and if I delete this, well, if we delete this, what I'm going to do is we're going to put. This is a hazard as well, something that you do need to be aware of if you're planning fields. So 1, 2, 3. Now, if you look at these, you can see originally these were 70. These are 70%. When you first put a field down, you get 70%. If you remove a field and put down another field, you only get 10%. But that's okay. You come out this way. We will put this here. This is going to be more of a permanent farm, so I think what we will do is put 1, 2, 3, 4 medium fields there. I think that's going to be more than enough. Right, next thing. All right, we've got over 21s. I've kind of neglected these guys. We need workforce into here. Can't have over 21s sat around doing nothing, so we're going to get you in there. Yeah, I know the loyalty's way too low. It's now the next thing we're going to need is a waste dump over here for the turn. I mean, we could use this waste dump, but I'm not sure that that's actually going to work So we're going to put a waste dump up here. Just put a little medium dump field here. Don't need a permanent road. And what that's going to be is our waste drop-off point. Not biological waste drop-off point, because at the moment, the biological waste we get at the moment goes into here. You can see it's actually building up a little bit. In fact, it probably still will go there, but what we will do is change the distribution office to send the biological waste up to here, where it gets turned into fertilizer. And then, of course, eventually we'll be importing the fertilizer. Let's go back over to here. See what's going on over here. Bricks and boards. Let's see. Okay, you're repairing the... Got a little bit of fertilizer in here. Now, I don't know if... again, apologies, I know you can't see it, but what you see now is... If you... Just to show you here, is because we're bringing in the fertilizer now. This field was 10%. You can see what's happening now is this guy is actually spreading the fertilizer, which is improving this. And you can see here the actual nutrient level is rising. So what we got here is this is actually growing. So hopefully what we'll do is we will get more. So we're not getting a lot of crops into here at the moment. Builders low fertility. This is this one. See, this is the reason I want to get the fertility up, because this farm here will never be able to fill this up, even if I got more and more fields. The reason being is that this is consuming the crops quicker. What we will do, and we got here as well. Now there might be a problem here eventually, in the sense that these silos may fill up. So what we may have to do is, can I build it? Is it possible to get an extra silo in here? This is more long-term planning. If I get you there, just push you back a bit. We will build that. We'll build that, but we suspend that. I don't want to build that just at the moment. Just want to see. Right, how's the unemployment in this area? It says we got a problem with small children now, which is probably the other place, but I just want to see what the unemployment situation here is. Yeah, we got a lot of unemployment now because of the winter. What I'm hoping is that this will get here. Yeah, we got no problem with the kindergarten at the moment. Now we've got a bit of a dichotomy here, in the sense that we've got more workforce to get out and build things and move things and do things, but of course we've got the winter coming. Just gonna scoot over and see where the kindergarten problem is. Over here. Yeah, we got, I think we're definitely gonna need a kindergarten here. Yeah, that was a bit naff actually, to be honest. I think what we will do is we've got accommodation here, so if I could get another kindergarten tucked in just in this corner. Get it just in here. Actually, we can take it off of there, because this is where the accommodation route is. It will also put it very close to here as well. Yeah, you certainly don't want workers sat around doing nothing. We'll check the priority on that, because I don't want these guys sat around doing nothing. Yeah, you can see another thing which is developed is the fact that we've got a health risk with a septic tank here, which is reducing our efficiency in this area. We've forgotten all about this actually. At the moment, we need to get these guys working on out here. Yep, forgot completely all about this. We've got the money building up for this now. What's actually happened here is that I delivered water out here, or no, actually we were delivering water to where is it? One of these buildings, because it's out of range of the water tank. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is, we've got that there. If I could put in, maybe we could turn this to our advantage. If I say, for example, if I put the water supply there, actually we put it there, let me just see what's the coverage. That will cover that area. If we can we can supply water to there, like that. Any trouble is where's the water pump? We've got that is going that way. That is going that way. I think what we'll do is I'm gonna put a water switch, say about there. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to need it, but I'll rather over-engineer it at the moment than under-engineer it. We'll push you out to there. Now, the problem we're going to have is with sanitation. Actually, if we put in a sewage switch here, the reason I'm doing this is that we may actually push out this way with our construction industry. So I'm kind of thinking, put you actually side by side there. I think, can we hook you up to there? Yep. What that will mean is that we can put you to there. That would get fresh water out to there. See, we got a nice little corner here for a construction industry, but the trouble is it's really in the wrong place, because it's, well, I suppose it doesn't really make that much difference if I build the construction industry in this corner. One of the saving graces is that we've got bitumen here. We'll be close enough to import cement. Maybe that's something I need to think about for the next part. Okay. Want to make sure allow citizens to move in. what we need to do is build up the workforce for here. What I will do is, this is a little bit technically redundant. I am going to put you, actually we'll just tuck you in there so I can monitor the pollution coming from this area. November, I think what, okay, this is where this is where things are going to get a bit interesting, because I want the borough, is it sewing machines, got you 15, you're 10, right, we're going to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Yeah, I'm glad I remembered this actually, because it's going to take probably most of the winter with the snow for these guys to get all the way over to here for the farm. So we're on the 21st of November. Also, just let the game run. There's no point, because we're going to have to bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now with this farm set up, what we're going to try and do is keep everything in-house within the farm. We're not going to use an external distribution office. One thing I will need to do is, where's my fuel? Let me just see. Where are you? You're over there. We're going to need to put fuel into there. Fuel only. I need to rename this. This is Emsworth. Fuel. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Fuel distrib. I think I would probably like another. We got the money for it. Fuel truck, oil tanker, capacity. Right, year 6, year 5. Right, we're going to get a Russo Bolt. This is one from the DLC, so we get another fuel truck here. I think maybe it's time for you. Where are you going? Well, you're delivering to the farm. I think it's time for these guys to get pensioned off. Long term, what I want to do is start to actually, how can you put it? Get rid of all the wagons in this area. I know I've said it before. Actually, let me just look at the snowplow situation. I think we may need to. We've got 18 kilometers an hour, 10 kilometers an hour, 12 kilometers an hour. This one's 22 kilometers an hour, but I think maybe a reindeer snowplow would be a little bit over the top. But we got a steam bulldozer here. I think, yeah, I think it's time to bite the bullet. And I know the snow plows are not going to be particularly that efficient. But I think maybe it's time to let me just put this in here. If we tuck you here, Okay, we just build a gravel road out to there. And then I mean, we could always use it for other purposes as well. Because of course, one thing I haven't considered, or I might have considered and forgot all about it. Yes, I have. Okay. We are going to collect the biological waste here. Just to kind of improve that. Right. I think I've stalled long enough now. We are coming up on December, so you can see here, let me just do the crop overlay. So we've got no crops actually left in the fields. It's just that we haven't got enough here. We might actually be able to, I mean, this has gone a little bit better than I thought it would. You can see that this fertility has now got to 50%. It's not brilliant, but I think we can work with that. Anyway, I'm just going to let the game run forward now, and you can see that we've got nearly, I'll do a quick chat, I mean 76%. This field has not actually matured. Actually, I think what we're going to do is, I know this is nasty, but I'm just going to remove this field here. And we're going to put a big field in here. There it goes. We just pause. And of course, this field's only going to be 35%. Because it's got a kind of a fringe benefit from the fact that it's bigger than the field here. You see this one's back to 150, 130%. Got a tiny bit of crops left in there. Now what I will do off camera is resort through the order of these fields now. But I just want to make sure everything is done first. And you can see over here we've got we've got losses on this farm as well, and you can see we've got about 700 tons of crops in here. Now if you compare that with here where we only got 180, but we've got 171 in there, so again this is not going to run very well. And of course we're going to flip this. Eventually I will do a permanent solution for this as well. There's our little harvesters. That's what we're going to be trying to get rid of eventually. So over here, just to go back and show you, we're getting rid of this mixed waste. We're getting a little bit of a build up of scrap here. And again, just to show you with the economic side, export. You can see we actually exported 7 tons of mixed waste last month, or this month. And we actually made a small profit. If we come back to here, we exported 14 tons of mixed waste and we lost a tiny amount of money here. But because we can't separate that waste, and this is the big issue, that there's no, if I say, for example, I put in a, oh, that's nicely detailed. That's pretty cool, actually. Never really noticed that. If I put a wagon in here and say pick up construction waste, the game won't play. It will just say, no, sorry, can't do that. We've got this being built here. This is nearly finished. And then, and as I say, what I'll do is once this is finished, move these guys down to here, and then what it means is I might leave these guys these here. No, I won't. We'll move them all, I think, and then this will become our pure road crew working area. It's all finished now. Gravel pickup, asphalt pickup there. we're going to leave you on maintenance. Actually, I'm going to leave the small one up there. Actually, I've forgotten about that. Put past batteries there. Set you to 3,500. Auto detect. And actually, I think I will just move this guy, these guys here. No, I didn't mean to do that. You go there. Actually, I think I will. We'll move them all. Okay, so some buildings are not suitable. Oh. You've actually got to... Yeah, I forgot. Where's our asphalt crew? Where are you? Yeah, I forgot we got to... Where are you? You're down here at the moment. Okay, so we can't move those until this has been built. Actually, probably could do with a second asphalt crew out here. Let me just see. Yeah, I think we're gonna... I think what we'll do is we'll get rid of you. Because I want to keep the redistribution offices going. Actually, let me just quick look. Import last month. Yeah, we can afford the fertilizer. I think what I'll do is I'll keep this crew. I'll rebuild this building as a groundworks crew for the gravel and the asphalt. But what we will need to do is kind of change this a little bit. I think you've only got... How many dumpers have you got here? Oops. You've got 2 dumpers, crane, a couple of bulldozers. I think we can send one of them to here. Yep. See if what you've auto detected. Yeah, you've only got that bit there. You're just building that little section of road there. So what are you building? Yeah, citizens' happiness is too low. That's not good. What is going on here? Yeah, no drinking water. What I'm going to do is... You're going to be even more unhappy about this. Yep. I think we're going to have to make this off limits. Unemployment too high. Yeah. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. What we'll do is we'll get everything set up ready for the next harvest over here. I will sort out the problem with... I think the problem we've got here is I've only got the one water truck, so I think if I bring in another water system in here. Now we are working on this sewage unloading, because the problem is if I run water into here, we got the same problem as we got here with the health risk. So actually, probably what I do need to do actually is push that priority up a bit and get you onto there and get you onto that. We build this. Is the pipeline finished? No. Okay, we need that built as well. So we need you guys working on that. don't know what's going to get built first. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.